What do you wish people knew about your community that you come from?
Well, I'm from South Philadelphia, the Point Breeze area. What I wish people knew, underneath all the violence and the riffraff and the chaos, it's a lot of talent and a lot of raw potential in my community. There's entrepreneurs, musicians, teachers, public speakers, all that's in my community, but I feel like it gets overlooked because of what people assume about it.
It's the end of the week, and I don't have a lot of time to talk about this, but I just want to say, love it or not, this might be my favorite video I ever put out. And here's why. Today was college day at school, and college day here is, let's fix this. College day at our school is, we ask students that are former graduates of our school to come back. Some of them are in college, some of them have graduated from college and gone on to, working and traveling and living life. We have them come back and speak to the students about a whole host of topics, like what was it like when you were in school? What should we know going into college? What do you wish you knew when you were a freshman in high school? What was surprising to you going into college? What did you learn? All this great stuff. You start off with these surface topics, and then it goes deep because you forget that students can go, they're capable of going deep now. Whereas in high school, they're more reserved. They don't really want to share their feelings or say what they think about something. So you hear someone talk about what it was like to go to a university in Virginia where they were the only black male in the classroom. You hear what it was like to hear someone say, like, I didn't want to perpetuate the cycle, or I want to come back to Philly and give back to my community. And the reason that this is so impactful is, as my friend Miss List just said, who's my department head, that this day feeds her soul, is what she said. And it does. It fills you with hope, because what you're doing is you're seeing these students that have come back from schools that you remember when they were freshmen. You remember when they were a pain in the ass and they would never shut up and they didn't do their homework and they didn't care about school and they'd fall asleep all the time. And now they come back and they're men. They've grown into something. They've become something greater than what you could have imagined for them. Now, not everyone's life is perfect. Some people have ended up maybe having kids earlier than they thought, maybe dealing with some stuff outside of school, having legal troubles, getting in trouble. That has happened, but they have come back better because of it. One of my favorite things that the school does, I really give them props for, is that we don't bring back one type of kid. It's not all the valedictorians, it's not all of our favorite students. It's kids that are some kids are not even in college right now, but then they talk about that. Maybe their financial aid went wrong. Maybe that scholarship ran out. Maybe, they had a loss in the family and it really affected them and they weren't able to keep going to school because they didn't have it in them at that moment. And so I love that we have this diverse crew of dudes come back. But real quick, at the end of this, I just want to show you a couple of questions that I asked students that were willing to be on the channel, because I really and for all of you guys that are watching this, it really does more good than you could ever imagine. Have you lived the life that you've lived, come from the neighborhoods that you've come up through the struggles that you've been through. And I'm not trying to stereotype that or pigeonhole anyone, but the struggles have been real for a lot of these students. And to see you come back as fully functioning men and to be the example for the current students coming through, it is literally the thing that educators want to see in their lives. And I cannot thank you enough. And anytime you want to come back and either spit some truth to these guys or be on YouTube, I love it. I can't get enough of it. So here's some of the interviews I did with the students today. This is Doug. Doug was a senior during my first year and was in my most trying class I've ever had, but he came back to talk at college day. So I have a bunch of different questions I'm going to ask students, and then we'll kind of jump into that. What do you wish people knew about so you come from this world, you come from West Philly, right? And so there's a lot of misconceptions about the young men that come out of West Philly. What can you speak to teachers that may be in my position, when I first started out? How can you help them out? What kind of light can you shed on what is it? What should they know?
The main thing that I would say is just don't be quick to judge or go off of the things that you hear about the city. Philadelphia, especially the inner city, West Philly, is really hard. Coming up here, kids go through all types of different things, and you never know what their situation is at home. A lot of kids you just program to just have this wall built up and like people been through like a lot of different stuff, like hurt by people that you like trusted the most. So it could be tough. But the main thing, like I know, like for me, I do like a lot of work with like at-risk youth, and I know I seen like a kid, he had like his pants like was hanging down real low, so like I automatically I almost caught myself judging him, but I found out that like his family is really poor. That was like the only pair of pants he had, and like they was just too big for him. So
Yep.
it's just like stuff like that.
You
I
find
would
someone's
say.
story and it changes the whole
Yeah,
narrative. They become a
yeah.
real person and not just a statistic.
I guess I seen like that right there made me realize like how easy it is to like just look at somebody and just like be quick to like prejudge or like assume certain things about a person and not realizing like the situation that they come from.
And so you've changed a lot since high school. Can you tell everyone what you're doing now?
So right now I'm working with the net. So basically I work with kids that's on probation. Most of them is like they from here in the inner city with like drugs and gun charges. And like when I talk to the kids and I'm like I find out like why do you engage in those activities? Most of them don't have a dad, and they gotta do what they have to do for like to take care of their home, and they don't have work experience, so they can't get like a job. So just trying to like help them, like because like a kid a few days ago told me like just certain stuff is always like is embedded in him, like he's gonna always be a hustler. So I just was trying to like figure out different ways to like turn that hustle to like more like do more positive with that hustle and that grind. So that's basically like what I do.
You are the example.
Oh.
You're the living example talking to those dudes, whether you know it or not, man. Nice. Doug. Thanks, man. Pratt, what year did you graduate?
2013.
All right, so what are you doing now?
So right now I'm working for a tech company called Energage. I'm a data analyst for the company. I'm attending Lincoln University. I left Boys Latin and went to Hampton, had some ups and downs in life, which brought me back home, closer to my support system. And now I'm at Lincoln. I'll graduate in May and work during the week, Monday to Friday, and school on Saturdays.
You have changed dramatically from and that's not always a negative connotation, right? Like you've grown a lot, like in talking. What would you tell teachers like that feel like giving up, that don't want to do it anymore? From your perspective, like, because you have more insight on who you were back then than I do. So how would you speak to that?
So some teachers may deal with like an angry student per se. I was that angry student, and a part of that was understanding what my problems were and what my issues were in life. Sometimes your more aggressive student has a lot of things going on at home that they can't particularly articulate or understand at that age. The best thing to do would be possibly just trying to bring that out of them, create some type of rapport, find a teacher that can create that rapport.
What's the best way to do that? Like, so you knew teachers that like try to do too much in high school and it was like really inauthentic, and then other people that were able to do that. What was something that you saw as like a good tactic to like really connect with students?
One, finding real things that y'all can connect on. If there aren't any real things, then the connection's not going to be that good. And then even if there aren't anything, sometimes you can teach somebody something new, and that'll like force that connection, kind of, sort of. But just communication, showing them that you genuinely care, persistence. Any teacher who told me they care, I didn't believe it originally, but any teacher who showed me that they cared year after year, time after time, I've grown to love, appreciate, and look at them as mentors.
Good answer, man. What's next for you?
So after I graduate in May, I just started getting into real estate. By the end of 2019, I'll have 6 properties between working with my sister, my mother, my girlfriend, and my cousin. In 2020, I'm quitting my job, going full hard time on real estate and medical marijuana investments.
Nice, man. Good for you, bro. Crawford. Crawford, what did I call you in high school?
Crawford.
Doesn't that mean your title?
I thought you had a nickname.
I don't think you gave me one.
Damn it.
Because I remember asking you about it, and you were just like, no, you're just like the only name I can actually remember. And I was like, oh, all right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So can you tell everyone, like, who are you and where are you going to school?
Hey, I'm Mikhail. I go to Wesleyan University up in Middletown, Connecticut, class of 2016. And there I'm studying African American studies, newly into the major. I just switched over from my Spanish track major, and that's where I'm at right now.
So what do you wish people knew about your community or about like where you come from? Or for the teachers that are watching this right now and they're thinking like, this is it, man. I can't do it anymore. Like I can't, it's too hard. The kids don't care, or whatever. What would you advise them? Because you've seen a lot of those teachers in your life.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of those teachers and students, and like I've never been in that position, but definitely I feel like throwing in the towel is a very natural thing, I think, for a lot of people in situations like these. And then in the moment, it all seems like it's going just downhill. But I feel like in hindsight, a lot of people that I've talked to really appreciate the caring and like the effort that's been put in to like whatever it is the teacher, are doing for the students, like fostering that. Because at the time, I don't think we've understood, like, we don't really understand, like, what it is you all are doing. And, like, you know, time, like, days like these when, like, I hear from other people, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. Like, I really didn't think of that way. And, like, there's always an underlying message that at the time we don't see. It's, like, at the time for us, it's just, like, annoying, pestering, just, like, really irritating. But then in hindsight, you get more experience and, like, you know, life actually happened. You're, like, you look back and you're, like, oh, these things have like really helped me. And if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have been able to stand here today, you know? Like, it may seem down, but don't give up just yet, you know?
It's a good answer, man. What's next for you?
I'll be abroad in Argentina in, what is this, February for 5 months. So.
And you've never been there before?
No, never been to South America. It's going to be a blast. I'm excited.
I love it, man. I love it. Thanks, Crawford.
Oh, of course.
So you watch the channel. Now you're on the channel, right? It's like
It's a lifelong dream.
it is. Can you tell everyone who you are and what you're like, where you going to school and stuff like that, and for what?
All right, my name's Cameron Fagans. I currently go to Morgan State University, the illustrious Morgan State University, and I currently major in family and consumer science.
Since freshman year, you've grown a lot as a human being,
Yes.
right? What was the reasoning behind that? Like, where did that come from? How'd that happen?
Boys Latin freshman year or college freshman year?
College, freshman year in high school.
All right, freshman year in high school, I grew a lot as a person because, well, for one, I had to accept change, you know. Didn't want to go to BR, didn't want to go to Boys Latin, but
Nobody wants to go here. It's all boys.
Yes.
And the lunches are
yeah, the lunch is
sad. We had better food in prison than we had here, but that's a whole other story.
My growth came from just meeting new people and seeing different people's experiences and learning new things, even about the city that I was raised in. So, and it's just making connections with people. I met a lot of people in BL who I'm still cool with today, and I'm 5 years removed from school, high school anyway. So, I guess that made me grow, and it made me look at a lot of things and just learning more things. And I guess that it spurred on more maturity in me to look at everything I see in my life differently.
What's a piece of advice you wish you could have given to your 14-year-old self?
Go to sleep earlier. You know, simplest advice, but like honest advice, like do more. I wish I could have told myself younger, like do more, study more, be more outgoing and more adventurous. And more adventurous in my just everything I did. Cause I felt like when I was 14 and first got here, I was just in my own shell. I came to school, went home, and that was it. And I played soccer, but it was like didn't really try to talk to anybody too much when I first got here. I wish I would have did more.
One of my greatest memories of you is like you went on the first graffiti tour that I ever did. We went downtown and Sloan almost got in a fist fight in that alleyway with some guy. Still can't believe I broke that up and it actually worked. So we're in downtown Philadelphia in an alleyway learning about graffiti, and something happened with a dude that was there. One of the students almost got in a fight with him, and I remember telling him, I'm like, my kids have to eat, and if you fight this dude, I'm gonna lose my job and my kids won't eat. And he goes like this, all right, Reynolds. And then that was it. Like, I'm like, how did that work? There's no way.
Because you got respect.
That should have worked.
Reynolds, you got respect.
But that was my dude, man. What's next for you?
What's next is I'm just trying to graduate. That's what's next. I want to, like, job-wise, I know I want to get a job. I just don't have it pinned down exactly what I want to do. But I just want to get out of school, get that piece of paper that says I did it.
It's enough sometimes, man. Yo, you have no idea right now how much time you still have to figure out who you want to be. And that can change a bunch of times. So, cool. Cam, good work, man. Thanks, dude.
Out here.
Oh my gosh,
All
photo.
right, Creepster, move over.
My name is Miles Bird, and I'm a current freshman at Temple University, and I dual major in film production and media production.
You had a tumultuous beginning at not just at our school, but the school before this,
Yeah.
right? You grew into an inspirational student by the time you were a senior. on a number of different levels for me that like it was amazing to see you kind of like grow and progress. What got you there? What was the agent for change in that?
Largely, it was the fact that the main thing my mom stressed to me when I was coming to Boys Latin was the fact that this was a fresh start. It's a clean slate. Because I had a really bad background at my previous school, and she was saying this is your new chance. And then I just got involved with Summer Search because that was just pretty awesome that I got nominated to actually join the program. And they made a huge difference because I got to like embrace the unknown, go out into the world, and just...
Where'd you go for Summer Search?
So like when I was a freshman, that summer, my first trip was a 2-week expedition in the wilderness in the Delaware Water Gap. We hiked 81 miles in total, but we were canoeing the second week, and we were hiking up the mountains. Canoeing the first week and hiking the second week. And then for my second trip, I chose to do a community service project, and I ended up teaching English in the Dominican Republic.
Why was that a big deal for you? I mean, you went hiking and climbed mountains. How does that change you?
It was like a self-discovery journey. You were supposed to learn like your strengths, your weaknesses, and what your limits are. And when you're out there on your own, you really learn what you're actually capable of doing. And I learned that I'm kind of like I can adapt to any situation I'm placed in. Like, I'm from the inner city. I'm not used to being out in the wilderness, but I got with the program, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to do this Bear Grylls style. I can do this, and I ended up coming out on top. Like, mine is still a pink drinking pee thing, but other than that, it was cool.
You still listen to Michael Jackson?
I listen to more artists now. I'm trying to expand my horizons, but it's inspirational to me. I just like hearing Man in the Mirror every once in a while.
I was gonna make a Man in the Mirror joke, but I couldn't think of the lyrics fast enough. But cool, Bird. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
I'm Khalil Cash. I go to school in the University of Maryland Eastern Shore in Princess Anne, Maryland. I'm a major in sociology, and right now I'm just focused on graduating.
All these years later, so when did you graduate? What year was that?
2014.
Then? So then, almost 5 years later, you come back into the halls of your high school. What hits you?
Honestly, if we're being honest, memories hit me. Like, this is a place that I've really grown to love. In the beginning, like most kids, I really didn't like the idea of coming to an all-boys school, but as I learned and got engaged and actually built relationships with people, I can honestly say that I honestly couldn't have went to a better high school. You know what I mean? I still communicate and talk to people that I've graduated with 5 years ago, teachers as well. So it's really like just a different place.
So my follow-up question to this I like because I never taught you. Because I hate compliments. Like when someone compliments me, it makes me feel all awkward and weird and stuff. So I know you're not going to say me, but what was it about going here that, like, when you think back about like what made it special, like was there a teacher, was there a class, was there a vibe, like what was it in retrospect that made this a special place for you?
Honestly, because what made it special for me was that the teachers actually cared. They cared about whether we came to school, they cared about whether we learned or not, and they cared about us outside of school too. Like, I have personal relationships with other teachers to this day, like, that actually call me and check up on me and make sure I'm okay.
Is that Miss Flounders?
Miss Flounders, Miss Roan, Miss
Yep.
Maloney, like, just... Yeah, and these are teachers that I always wasn't the best student in their class, but they seen potential in me early on. And
Last question. What do you wish people knew about your community that you come from? There's a lot of thoughts out there about what West is like. What do you wish people knew about it?
Well, I'm from South Philadelphia, the Point Breeze area. And so if you know anything about South Philadelphia, it's pretty much a pretty rough area. What I wish people knew about my community, underneath all the violence and the riffraff and the chaos, it's a lot of talent and a lot of raw potential in my community. You mean, there's entrepreneurs, musicians, teachers, public speakers, all that's in my community, but I feel like it gets overlooked because of what people assume about it.
That's a good answer, man. What's next for you?
Right now, I'm focusing on graduating. Not really sure if I really want to work with somebody, so I'm kind of focused on real estate and entrepreneurship.
Thanks, man. Cool. Thanks, bro. Appreciate you coming in. All right, everybody. Look, if you're having a hard day, if it's the end of a hard week, if you're in the midst of all the madness right now in the middle of the school year, just remember that you have zero idea sometimes where these kids are going to go and what they're going to become. But just hold on to that hope that they will be something. And that you showing up actually matters. You finishing the year, you coming back next year, you putting in the work, you building the relationships, it all builds towards something and you actually matter. That's it, everybody. Peace.